Hello and welcome to Employment Skills. I'm your professor, Angelo Ford. Normally, this is going to be a 100% asynchronous, fully on your own course. I may or may not add little videos like this in where I can, but it is, again, an asynchronous course, so it is intended to be fully completed on your own through Canvas. To be able to get the most out of it, I'm going to try to make that as interactive as I possibly can. I've done it before as a fully in-person course. I've never done it before online, um, which most of our courses are this semester anyway due to COVID. But this one is going to be a little bit of an adaptation for me. So that's why I figured I would make this video to start off and just get everybody on the right page. Make sure you can find all the information and you know the best way to get a hold of me. Speaking of me, as you can see from the paraphernalia behind me, a little bit about me. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. I joined the Air Force. I was a pilot, flew all over the world. I wanted to tell those stories when I got out, all those adventures, and I took some screenwriting classes. And I really enjoyed it, but it never really went anywhere. So I transitioned, like most people, into a business career where I could actually make some livable money and a life for myself. I did that for 10 years until a friend of mine came into some cash and opportunity to make a $3.5 million low budget feature. And I became the production manager for him. He needed somebody to help with all the logistics, all the contracts, the business aspects of it, which would fit perfectly for me. I did that and ended up going back here to Saddleback myself. I completed the entire TV cinema course, and again, still loved it so much that I decided to go get an MFA at Chapman. I completed the producing program there, and made about 35 movies, shorts, features, all kinds of different films, web series. Um, Moved to England with my wife and for her career, and I kind of put the idea of making movies behind me. Went back into just business again, and then after moving into the United States, we had the opportunity for me to kind of take a step back. My wife was a vice president in a company at that point, and I started teaching at Saddleback, one course to start with. And it just grew and grew and grew to now I teach between 8 and 10 courses between Saddleback and up at Pasadena City College as well. And I love it. I've just decided that I love teaching. It's such a great thing for me, fulfilling, and really it gives me the opportunity to leverage both my MBA, my business side of the experience that I have, and all of the entertainment with that MFA as well, and bring them both together to kind of balance both what we have perfectly here today, which is the business side of the business. How do you go about finding a job in this entertainment business, which can be extremely difficult. That's where we kick off today. As we're about to go through this course overview, the big thing I want to parlay into this is anybody in the entertainment industry, you really have to love it. There's so many people going for so few jobs. Only the people that have the most passion and are literally the top tier of their realm are the ones that gonna get those positions. I try to be as straightforward and honest with people as possible in entertainment, that it is a pipe dream to actually find employment and keep employment in this industry. But that's what this course is all about, and we'll be looking forward to going through with each module each week. The first thing that you need to know is here in Canvas. Come on in and then take a look at what we have, the welcome. I've got this overview for you here to go through first. You can come in here and see any information that you need, a little bit about the course. This is the book. It is mandatory for this course. It's a great book. Walks through all of the different realms of finding and keeping employment in Hollywood, which is what each module that we go through on a weekly basis will be about. So we'll follow through the book and then kind of build and expand on those through exercises and things that we write and assignments. So make sure that you pick up that book. You can get it. I believe it is at the bookstore. If not, you can follow it here, get it on Amazon, rent it online, all kinds of different places. This is the full ISBN number. You can find it there. Again, it is all on your own. If you're going to not get the book, you're not going to read it, you might as well drop the class now. Because again, that's the attitude that's going to go nowhere in Hollywood. If you don't have that self-motivation to, buy a book that's required for a class, actually take the time to read it and do those kind of assignments, unless you are extremely well connected or very wealthy, because there's that avenue, which is unfortunately the way Hollywood and our industry does roll. It's highly unlikely, through just luck that you're going to walk into some great job. It really does take extremely hard work, as well as those connections. I mean, you have to find them somehow. The course goals, the student learning objectives for this course right here, demonstrated the essential skills and knowledge for employment. Basically create, how do I create a resume? How do I, make a cold call? Where do I find jobs? How do I network? All those basic ideas of business oriented stuff. It's not so much entertainment oriented, it's the business aspects of it. Where do I go about finding jobs and keeping jobs? Demonstrating those essential skills, being able to talk and put your best foot forward on paper to make people want to hire you. Present a reel, absolutely critical in the entertainment industry. I highly recommend to all of my students in all my courses to create an IMDb page for themselves. If you go onto a project, make sure that somebody's giving you the proper credit to link that up, because it is the number one way where the reels, the things that you've done are being presented for somebody that might want to bring you onto their picture. And then finally, the third one is to perform tasks required in employment skills. How do you actually complete some of the stuff that's required on a daily basis? And we'll be looking at that in depth as we go through the semester. One of the first ones we'll take a look at in this week's lecture is like a keeping charts. How do you look at it? What's a Gantt chart? Everybody in the industry, everybody in business should know what a Gantt chart is. Basically, objectives over time. The idea of balancing time, cost, and quality. Some just very, very basic project management skills that are extremely applicable in an employment type of situation. All that kind of stuff is what we'll be looking at over the course. Speaking of the course, we have a little bit of a roadmap. My students started me doing this. They love getting a roadmap from their teachers in elementary school that just shows them, have a heads up of what's going to be happening over the semester. So I've kind of been putting those together as we go through each week and each course. And the main ones for this semester will be, one, the Canvas writing assignments, which you can find in Canvas. You can see all the points. This all ties into the syllabus, which I do need you to go and read and then submit as well. Talk about that in a few seconds here later on when we get to it. But, we'll be doing four major presentations that you'll be submitting. I may, if I have the ability to, like I said, this is asynchronous, but I'm still going to try to have the interviews connect with my friends that are in the industry. I have an executive friend at Sony. Maybe we can set up a few interviews with him. My wife is a vice president at a major firm. Maybe a couple people can have an actual online type of Zoom interview with them. I'm going to see if we can set that up, but no promises, because it's completely dependent on COVID and timing and whole bunch of other stuff to see how this course actually goes as an asynchronous situation. So, but if I can make them like that, I think that's way more engaging and interesting, and I'll try my best to see if we can do that. Same thing with the mock call and the elevator pitch. I'd hate to you just do a Zoom pitch into a screen and then me watch it. I don't really see that's not. I guess it is kind of real world today, but I think there's more value if we're actually doing it live on a Zoom. Again, it depends on whether or not how much time we have and COVID and all that kind of stuff. There will be 2 essays, 1 and 2. They're 15 points each. You can check them out in Canvas. And then the midterm and the final. They won't be too intense. I'm not a big on random rogue memorizing things. That does come into play sometimes in interviews where people try to trick you up on things like that at Google and big companies. But everybody I've always dealt with in entertainment are pretty straightforward about trying to understand that the actual key skills of a job or right connections. So that's more of what we'll be focusing on. The real world side of it, not just rogue memorization. So don't worry too much about the midterms and finals. This is more oriented against, networking and your ability to present yourself. With us, one of the huge ones is going to a film festival, and being able to present yourself confidently at a film festival to network with people, because that's really how most of the employment is carried out in our industry. You get onto a film set and then you meet the first AD team, and they're going up to Vancouver, and they loved the work that you did on the set, and they invite you to come along with them. Building that pipeline, keeping those network connections going, that's really what the course for me is going to be about. So all of this information, of course, can change, But that's just a quick heads up, where you can come in and find the overview. As far as this first week goes, we have the introduction and roll call. I'm going to take that roll call by whoever completes the assignments that are due. The first one here is this discussion about taking stock. That is, we'll get to that in a second. I'll jump back to this one here. So this first week, I'll go through the lecture real quick. I'm not going to go too much on it because you are going to be just reading them on your own. But this week I will get us kicked off with including a short overview of it. Then the syllabus signature, you're going to click on this. And what I need you to do is actually go to the syllabus over here, right here. Click on that, read it, print it out, sign it, and then upload it back to this area here. That's part of what I'm going to count for your roll call. The other part of it is this taking stock assignment here. You're going to come into the discussion and then just do a little post about, your experience, what your expectations are, what you'd like to get from the course. And I'm going to use this information to kind of guide it and shape it, as much as I can. So be sure to, give a good overview of your expectations, what you want from the course. And that will be due by Sunday. Most of the work, actually all of the work, almost all of the work in this course will be due by the following Sunday on the week that it's assigned. So let's say today's Monday, the 17th, then the homework would be done on the following Sunday of that week. And then that'll pretty much go forward for every week. I don't think there's too many of them might go over. So keep an eye on Canvas to see specifically when things are due. But those two elements are what I'm going to cover for your roll call this week. And I have to have you complete them because if you don't, I have to drop you by the next class. That's kind of the way it is at Saddleback, so that we know we have actual students that are taking the courses and that you're actually engaging in the course to do the work. And since this is a fully asynchronous course, if you can't take the time to even do the syllabus signed and the taking stock quick assignment, there's no hope for you in getting any of this done because it's all on your own. The reading assignment for this week is the first 3 chapters of the book. This one here, the Hollywood Game Plan, like I said, is the mandatory book. Read chapter 1, which is Welcome to Hollywood. Chapter 2, Learning the Basics. And then chapter 3, Making Yourself Irresistible. Pretty easy read. I read them already myself too as well. I read this book. I took this course way back when too. And it's a great book and it really does help. So that's an overview of the current situation, what's currently due. And then every week I will publish, the new information. I used to go through and publish all of it at once for every Canvas course, and I found it just confused students. So now I only publish 1 week at a time. Usually I'll publish the next week at the end of the first week. So if there are any questions on any of this, feel free to contact me, Angelo Ford. My email is aford@saddleback.edu, or you can reach out to me directly in Canvas. And I think I have some other ways you can get a hold of me in the slides here, which we'll look at in a second. But that's pretty much everything I have for the welcome. I did want to just go through that overview, and then I will go through and this week make a little a video that goes along with the lecture as well for you. But again, most times those are just going to be on your own to go ahead and read. So again, if there are any questions, get a hold of me through Canvas or through my my school email. Plenty of ways to get a hold of me. And we'll be going through this course. I hope everybody stays safe and look forward to reading your submissions. Thanks.